toast of the town, the girl on the go, and the type of pony every pony should know. I'll be the one to watch the girl in the flow, and the type of pony every pony should know. Becoming as popular can be. Making my mark in high society. I'm the belle of the ball, the star of the show. Yeah, and the type of pony every pony should know. See how they hang on every word that I speak. My approving glance is what they all seek. I'm the creme de la creme, not just another Jane Doe. I'm the type of pony every pony should know. At home, at the opera, on a fancy yacht, becoming the talk of all of Canterlot. I'm the creme de la creme, not just another Jane Doe. Yeah, I'm the type of pony every pony should know. Because I'm the type of pony, yes, I'm the type of pony. Yes, I'm the type of pony every pony should know.
In springtime, Rusty loves to visit a faraway place. It's filled with bluebells, the air smells sweet, and Rusty thinks there's no better place to be. One day, Thomas was passing by just as Rusty was having a drink. Beep beep! Good morning. Your driver looks a little worried. I wonder why.
I don't know yet, but I soon will. Excuse me, driver, but is something wrong?
Yes, indeed, Rusty. They need another engine to help run this special line.
A Bluebell engine, maybe I can find one.
Later, Rusty saw Douglas and Percy. Rusty had an idea.
Can you help me find another engine?
Where?
Where you found Oliver?
You mean on the other railway?
Yes, I'm looking for a Bluebell engine.
And Rusty explained everything.
I'd like to help, but these days it's only diesels that go there.
Then Rusty decided.
So, that's where I'll go.
Take care.
Rusty told the driver all about the plan, and that night he came back to the shed.
The manager says he'll make a home for the Bluebell engine if we find one.
Good, I know we'll find one tomorrow.
It took them all of the next day to travel to the other railway. Darkness fell, and the cold wind blew.
Hey, what's that?
But it was only the sounds of the lonely scrapyard. Diesels, silent and still, lined up on guard. Rusty plucked up courage.
I'm Shetland Siding's inspection diesel. Have you any engines in the sheds?
Rusty rallied again.
Then what about the sidings?
Rusty grew braver still.
And then I'll just go and inspect.
A small engine with a tall funnel stood sad and alone in the shadowy siding. His driver was huddled in the cab, keeping him company.
Excuse me, do you like bluebells?
The engine looked startled.
Yes, bluebells are beautiful.
Then you're going to see lots of them because I'm getting you out of here.
Everyone worked fast. It was difficult to set the fire, but soon it was glowing hot, and Stepney had a good head of steam. Rusty's engineer agreed to be Stepney's fireman. So off they set past the bleak and brooding lines of diesels.
Oh, just down the line, sir.
And they chuffered quickly away.
We've done it. We're over the border and back on our own highway. Mission accomplished.
When Rusty and the engine arrived in the valley, a big welcome awaited them.
Shall mend you and give you a new coat of paint.
His driver was delighted.
You lucky old engine. You have been saved by the Bluebell Railway.
And my friend Rusty. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Rusty.
Now the little engine is as happy as can be. It helps all the passengers who visit at Bluebell time. His name is Stepney, but everyone calls him the Bluebell Engine. Thomas the tank engine was feeling very happy. His blue coat shone in the sun. He was right on time. And all around his branch line, the countryside seemed prettier than ever before. Beep beep! Good morning, Percy, he whistled. My branch is the pride of the line. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, Thomas, of course.
But what, Percy? Out with it.
Well, there is another engine for a famous branch line, too.
Who? Where?
His name is Stepney. He's far away, but your top hat says he may visit us.
When?
Oh, someday.
And Percy hurried away. Meanwhile, Stepney was puffing steadily along his line. It isn't very long. That made him feel a little sad. Later, he saw Rusty. The little diesel would help save Stepney from scrap.
Everyone's been so kind to me, but my railway is so short, and I do miss a good long run.
I think you should tell your driver about this. I'm sure he'll understand.
Stepney soon discovered that indeed he did.
You know what, Stepney? I feel just the same way.
That evening, he had exciting news.
Guess what, Stepney? Sopet's invited us to visit the other engine from his railway. Managers agree. It'll be a really long run to get there, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Oh, thank you!
They set off next morning. By now, all the other engines were talking about Stepney.
He runs a famous branch line. Did you know that?
Thomas was feeling a little jealous. Maybe famous, but my branch is the first on the line. Everyone knows that too. And he huffed away to fetch his coaches.
Look!
Squeaked Percy.
Why have they all come? There's no train yet.
But Percy was wrong. The signal dropped, and from far away an engine whistled.
Here he comes!
Stepney puffed proudly through the junction.
I hope you'll meet Thomas too. You won't have branch lines to be proud of.
Then Stepney set off to help Doc shunt coaches in the yard. They worked happily together all afternoon. At last Thomas arrived. Sorry, can't talk. It's time for my last branch line train. Mustn't be late. He was hardly out of sight when the engines heard shouting at the station. Moments later came the alarm.
Stop all trains!
The signalman answered the telephone.
A special, is it? I see.
Thomas was impatient. Why are we waiting? My passengers are being delayed.
Sorry, Thomas. We're being shunted to allow another train to pass.
Soon, they heard an unfamiliar puffing sound. There was Stepney with his headlamp swaying and whistle blowing, gathered speed and disappeared. "Well, bust my boiler," said Thomas the Tank Engine. Next morning he was still fuming. "Shunted, and on my own branch too. It's a disgrace."
I'm sorry, Thomas. I was a special.
"Why?"
You see, an important passenger arrived just as you left. He ordered for a special train and Duck let me take him. We had a splendid run. No records broken, but...
"But," finished Thomas, "it can make an engine nervous not to know the line."
Exactly. You're such an expert, Thomas.
Thomas felt much better. He couldn't be cross anymore and began telling Stepney all about his branch line.
You know what? You are very lucky engines. Your line has got everything. It's long enough to give you a good run, and you have plenty of passengers. Then you have a quarry, a mine, and factories, so you need plenty of cars. Cars are fun. I miss those on our line.
Percy was surprised. All the engines thought cars were trouble.
You're welcome to take some of mine, but you better ask Driver first.
Their drivers agreed, and the two engines set off. Thomas and Toby were speechless. Stepney took the cars to the harbor. He picked up a load of empty ones and started back. Ahead was a cricket field. The game had just begun. Stepney and his driver had to wait at a signal.
Jolly good timing. We can watch the game while we wait.
Then there was trouble. The batsman hit the ball. It flew high into the sky towards Stepney's train. Clunk went the signal. Thump went the ball into a car, but neither the driver nor fireman heard it.
Stop!
Yelled the players, but Stepney didn't hear them.
Come along! Come along!
Out on the ball!
Cried the players.
Wake up, Caroline!
They said to their old car.
Chase on!
Caroline coughed crossly and rolled down the road. Stepney wasn't hurrying, and Caroline soon came up behind.
Toot toot!
She wailed. The players shouted, but Stepney was still too far away for his driver and fireman to see or hear properly. They completely misunderstood.
It's a race those jokers want, then it's a race they're going to get. Faster, Stepney! Faster, old boy!
Poor Caroline wasn't happy at all. She rattled along at twice her usual speed.
Master shouldn't be treating me like this. This face is just too dark out for my system. It'll fuse all my circuits.
Suddenly, Stepney was nowhere to be seen.
Yahoo! That silly train is running into a hole, so we can't catch it. I'm sure Master will be sensible and go home now.
But she couldn't. Caroline's driver pounded Caroline on up the steep hill. Then down the other side toward the big station. Stepney was already there when Caroline clottered in.
Yeah, ball back,
said the players, and explained everything. The ball was nestled under some straw in the third car from the van.
Found it.
We're sorry about that.
You couldn't help it.
Now, we almost get back quickly. You'll be lucky. Looks like Caroline looks worn out.
And she was. The driver spoke to the station master and the signalman, and they all agreed on a plan. Soon they had rolled Caroline onto a flat car with the brake van coupled behind. The players crowded inside, and Stepney pulled the train back to the playing field. Everyone enjoyed watching the game. Even Caroline was pleased. She doesn't think trains are silly now.
They have their uses. They can sail the wear and tear on four cars' wheels.
Some days later, Stepney's visit to Sir Topham Hatt's railway was coming to an end. "We shall miss you," said Sir Topham Hatt. Then he turned his attention to all the other engines. "My railway is very busy, and I'm pleased with you, but you need help. A diesel is all that's available. Please do your best to avoid any disturbances."
James, you know what that means?
He means that this diesel is difficult, Westerner.
And he was. The diesel surveyed the shed.
Not bad. I've seen worse. At least you're all clean.
The engines glared.
It's not your fault, but Sir Topham Hatt should scrap you and get in as like me. Fill of oil and a touch on the starter, I'm off. No bother, no waiting. You have to fuss around you for hours before you're.
The engines were furious. Next morning, they held an indignation meeting around the turntable.
Disgraceful!
Disgusting!
Despicable.
What's up? It's a teaching a lesson we want to know. But how do we do it?
Their chance came sooner than expected. The diesel was purring comfortably. An inspector watched a fitter making final adjustments. The wind tugged at the inspector's hat. The diesel was ready.
Look at me, Duck and Stepney. Now I'll show you something.
He rode proudly toward his coaches. Then, it happened. Shaking and spluttering, the diesel stopped. Meanwhile, the inspector was looking for his hat. The diesel seat grew furious as Duck and Stepney pushed him back in the shed.
My hat!
Exclaimed the inspector.
Please get into your errand tape.
Bobby, your hat. The heavy train's due out. You'll have to take it, Duck. Stepney, will you help, please?
Yes, sir. I'd like a good long run on my last day.
The engines were soon ready. Gordon will take over from halfway, so get the train to there. Good luck.
Don't worry, sir. We'll get there and be ahead of our schedule, too.
The cavalcade moved carefully over the rails and out to the open line.
Time for a sprint.
Ready when you are, Stepney,
replied Duck. Soon they were whizzing through Edward Station. Next, they charged at Gordon's Hill beyond. They felt the drag of the heavy coaches here. It was hard work. At last, they were running smoothly along the line toward the big station.
Hello! You're early. That's one in the headlamp for that diesel.
James says that he's sick as boiler sludge, and he's sulking in the shed.
Serves him right for saying we're out of date.
Gordon chortled away. Next day, everyone came to say goodbye to Stepney.
Come back and see us soon!
The engines whistled.
And you are always welcome on the Bluebell Railway, too.
Then he puffed away. What about Diesel? He had slipped out while no one was looking, but he left two things behind. A rather nasty smell and a battered bowler hat.
Another illusion
it's gone, and I found out a little too late. I was acting as if you were lucky to have me, doing you a favor. Hardly knew you, but then you were gone. It all was wrong. Had no idea how much I cared. Being without you takes a lot of getting used to. Should learn to live with it. I don't want to. If I do, all to be a mistake. Still getting easier. It's the hardest thing to say. I'm addicted to you, baby. You're a hard habit to break. You found someone else. You had every reason. I know I can't blame you for running to two people together, but leaving alone. I was spreading my love to be. After all of these years, I'm still trying to